Alright folks, this is the first in a series of videos for the MGRover Owners NI Facebook page. Hopefully this is going to be the start of a series that's going to allow local owners to present themselves, present their vehicles, present their enthusiasm for the vehicles and the brand, as well as how they got established within the community. We have owners that have owned vehicles from new, we have owners that have owned picked up vehicles in the last little months. People who can only maybe attend 1 or 2 meets a year, people that attend meets all throughout the year. So what we're looking for is a selection of people. Anything will be considered. It doesn't matter if it's your everyday car, it doesn't matter if it's a show car, it doesn't even matter if it's a rust to wrecks restoration project. We want people to come and share them with us so we can share them with the group, because as Mark will tell you, you just never know what people have in their shed. And case in point being, we're in Mark's shed, and you never know what Mark has in his shed.
No, don't you start making stories now. No, like Colin says, obviously, we do our best as admins for the group, and we have a couple of people on board to help us as well. But we want you guys to get involved and help us make the group bigger. And we really want to push on this year and try and make things better for everybody. And I think when I put up the post before in the group about doing this kind of video series, everybody seemed to be positive about it. So we need you to give us the content. Like, I don't mind running around the country and going and visiting people, and I've obviously got the video stuff here, but we want to see what you have, and we want to see what you want to talk about. Projects, restorations, whatever you want to talk about, even buyer's guides and stuff like that. If you want to cover stuff, then that's what we want, and that's what we want to do.
I mean, we're hopefully going to do a couple of buyer's guides ourselves. Obviously, like, I sometimes know what I'm talking about when it comes to the 75 or a ZT.
Yeah.
Mark knows his way around an L series engine. His usually don't blow up when he remaps them, but that's another story. But you would probably be. Would you be more 25 than 45?
Well, I started like my roots are 25 ZRs. That's where I started. That's what I grew up with, and that's what I know. But obviously I work on a lot of different cars. But there is people who've come forward and said that they want to do certain things on makes, and so that's something.
Yeah, we just want people to be involved. I mean, as the meets are growing and the events are growing, and certainly Tullymore 2019 is looking to be big. I mean, we just finalised a few details with the Tullymore Forest Park Commission yesterday, so it's all good and gold, and we always find that people save their favourite car for Tullymore.
Yeah.
So if you want, we can film your vehicle at meets or film you at meets or whatever, but also we have the facilities to host you. And we'll try and work around whether it's Mark does it or I do it or we do it together. We really want to see your story, and we really want to try and explore, because I think Northern Ireland has a unique love history with Rover and MGRover. You certainly see the people of the older generation, they really, maybe a decade or two on me and Mark, they love Rover. They remember Rover when it was a real premium band, with the P5s, the P6s and the SD1s. These were the cars, and me and Mark, we're really only of the generation of the 800, the 600, the 200, the 400 onwards.
Well, speak for yourself.
Well, all right, okay. He's younger, but I look better. And obviously then with the brand dying off towards the end, and I think that has touched a lot of people as they've owned vehicles. I mean, there's countless guys out there who own cars from you.
Yeah.
They look after the cars the best they can, and they take them out. You maybe only see them twice a year, and you think, wow, that's great. Anyone else who's not into Rovers would say, oh, sure, that's just a 414 saloon.
Yeah.
But the likes of us, and you as well, you're going to look at a 414 saloon and go, that car's got 24,000 miles on it, that's original paint, that's stunning.
Yeah, well, there's a case this week on the group. There's been a couple of cars come up for sale, like coupes and stuff, and the amount of interest they've generated from people just looking at them for sale. And well, I'll not say much for this car behind me as well. That there's a lot of interest in that car as well, and they're all 90s cars. So
There was a silver 416, a 216 coupe come up for
That's
sale.
what I'm telling you. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
2 hours it was sold.
Yeah.
2 hours it was sold.
So and the amount of interest they generated was like talking to the guys that were selling them. You know, they're getting messages and stuff. So there is a lot of interest out there for the older stuff as well. It's not. But I'd also like to add on to that as well. The newer stuff. Like I know everybody says the newer stuff's not MG, blah blah blah. Like I've been very happy with my 6, and anybody that's been around a 6, you know, hasn't really got that much bad things to say. But I would love to actually have some of the newer guys come forward and say, you know, maybe do something on the new ZS's, on the 6, on the 3s.
I was really lucky that whenever the 3 came out, I happened to be passing Logan's down in White Alba.
Yeah.
It was only launched 2-3 days, and I went in and I had a test drive of the 3. And hand on heart, I think it's a brand new car.
Look, they're not.
I really do.
Obviously, they've got the stigma of the new MG SAC regime, you know, but like I personally have never been on one of the new ZS's. I haven't been on the GS. So
I was in the ZS in Private Longbridge in 2017.
Yes. Well, we
just launched it. I was in it then.
Yeah, I've never been out in the road in one, never really drove one. So, you know, I'd love somebody like that to come forward and express their, you know, why they bought one, you know, what they think of it, and any issues they have with it. Because there's, you know, there isn't much about them, and there's not many people in the group who seem to talk about them. So,
but yet, driving around, there's loads of the ZS's at the minute, and you see loads of the 3s driving on the roads in Northern Ireland. So again, if you're maybe a casual enthusiast, maybe you just bought it because it was a cheap vehicle and you don't really care about the brand, we'd still like to hear from you, because that's obviously you've bought a vehicle that we know very little about. Yeah.
Some we'd like to do a video on, and you know, I know there's at least 2 members in the group have ZS's.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you want to get in contact, we'll try and arrange something, or even if you want to talk at a meet or something, you know, it's all good. I will be trying to bring the camera out to meets with me. Obviously, it's not going to always work, but
weather dependent,
and exactly. But I will try my best to do it, and people can talk to me then if they want, or you know, I'll just do like brief stuff on the cars that come. But the thing that really strikes me is when you go over to England and go to these shows with Paul and stuff. And you see all the different stands, and everybody comes and looks at ours and goes, oh my god, look at the variation of stuff we have. Like, we have such a massive variation of models and makes, or not makes, but models of Rovers in the group, and it's fantastic. It's really good to see.
You mean, it certainly, there does seem to be that lack of diversity out there. Yes, you'll go over and you'll see variations of Metros that you've never seen before, variations of all the vehicles you've never seen before. But the amount of times people comment on, oh, we've seen your local group and on the other page, you always have some really interesting cars.
Like we have a lot of English people in our group that obviously, you know, it's the same with us, we're on the English groups too, but they obviously watch and stuff that we do, and things that come up, you know, probably cars for sale and stuff that come up, but the variation stuff we have, like Tullymore last year, the variation of cars we had in Tullymore last year was unbelievable, and that's something we want to dive into. We want to see what's in your sheds. It might be lying in your shed for 10 years, but we want to see it.
We don't care if it's covered in dust. We don't care if you're worried that the paint's not perfect. We don't care even if you're thinking about selling it. Do you know what? We'll still come down, we'll talk to you about it. You know, who knows, maybe it'll spark your enthusiasm for it again, or maybe you'll be able to find a home for it through us, who'll be able to contact other people who are interested in it.
So yeah, that's just a brief intro to the channel. That's why we're here. This is what I like. Me and Colin put the time in. It's, you know, it's not like we're getting paid or anything. You know, we're not making money or nothing. Like, YouTube money is not that.
No.
So we're here for the group. You know, we want to make a go at it. We want to make things, you know, better for everybody. Make bigger events. Get, you know, proper stands at events. It's something we've been struggling with the last couple of years, and we want to make an official group and try and bring things forward, and that's something we really want to push this year. So please come out to meets. Please talk to us.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of it coming out. It doesn't matter what you have. I know I keep saying this every video, but don't worry. It doesn't have to be showroom condition. Just come out, have a bit of crack, have a bit of chat with all our owners, and we're all here together. We're all here just for a bit of crack, and you know, it's nice to get all the cars out and talk to people.
And the other thing as well is, I mean, we're talking about, like, there are some people that are spending big money on their cars. Yeah. Like respray their cars and they're like twice a year or whatever, because they're like that. And there's some people who are using their cars as dailies. Excuse me, drinking too much of this. Not sponsored by Monster, but we will take free sponsorship if it's going when we're rich and famous. But the thing about it is as well is there's definitely a love there. To drive a Rover or an MGRover of any age, you always get the snide comments from people who don't appreciate the vehicles. You know, you try to turn around and say to someone like, I always say that driving a Rover is the British equivalent of driving an Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, well,
There's an effect there. There's a feeling you get, and it's also possibly the security. You don't have to worry about Italian electrics catching fire. So there is that benefit. But I don't know what it is. You know, you get into one, there's something. And I'm saying there's a lot of manufacturers are only catching up with, like the likes of the ZT, for example. See the amount of guys that have routed my yellow ZTT, friends that have no interest in MGs, and you really drive it hard, and they're looking at you going, how does a car this big handle that well for being essentially nearly a 20-year-old vehicle? And that goes all the way back with 820 turbos, SD1s, P6s, never mind handling, and you get the comfort aspect of things, the luxury, the reliability. Okay, people say the K series isn't reliable. I would say the opposite, it just needs maintained correctly.
Well, that is a video we will do. Mm-hmm. It's K series stuff. That would be a good video to do. We might actually do that here now. But that's it's things like that. The cars themselves, to me, have character.
Absolutely.
Like I have owned different cars. Like I have a car lying outside there, a German car, and I'm not
the 7 Series.
I'm not
7 Series.
I'm not saying what it is, but when you get into it, yes, lovely car, great car to drive, very very nice car, but it just doesn't have that character. Like I would drive my 75 every day. I have a 75 Tour I drive every day. It's great. I love it.
The other Bavarian branded vehicle feels like a dentist chair on wheels.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
But it just doesn't have that character, and that's why I love Rovers. When I sit in a 1994 414 and drive up the road, and you go to yourself, "This is a really nice car."
This is a really nice car.
That's just what it is, you know. So, and you see any of the younger guys that maybe want to watch this. If you ever actually try out some of the older cars, like the 400 series, 600s, 200s, coupes.
Honestly, coupes are a great car to drive.
If you drive a coupe, you'd be surprised at how much you'd like it. It's a really nice thing to drive. Well, obviously when it's not falling apart, but they're a really nice thing to drive.
I would say if you get the chance to drive a coupe, drive a 218 VVC.
If you can find
one. Or a 216. Don't worry about driving a turbo first time.
No.
Because you're not going to be enjoying it because you're going to I don't know how to do it. A coupe is an incredible car to throw into the corners.
Coupes was a really sort of like car from standard, and yes, everybody goes on about turbos, but any coupe, if you drive any coupe, they're quite nice. So that's one example, but we'll digress.
We're digressing. We always do this.
We always digress.
We always do this. It's the enthusiasm takes over.
So hopefully the next meet is 7th of April, isn't it?
7th of April in Portrush at the West Coast Strand.
West End, so you go underneath the tunnel into the car park just before you come to the So please come out, hopefully get the weather. It's looking not too bad at the minute, so should be a good wee meet. And after that, it's obviously the guys ready to Paul. And then the next meet after that, I don't think it's sorted yet.
I think we were looking at an IKEA one.
Yeah, I think we're looking at IKEA probably in maybe end of April, sort of May.
Yeah.
So that's the plan at the minute. Again, meets, that's another thing we must touch on.
Yeah, we want to try and build better meets. The way we've always done the meets, you know, the way I always had to arrange them was they always had to be in public car parks for liability reasons and all this sort of stuff. And I'm even now coming into issues with Tullymore.
Yes.
As Mark knows, I have spent several days dealing with council people and stuff like that now to allow Tullymore to happen. It can't happen this year, but next year for 2020 there could be. Yeah. It could be very difficult for it to happen.
Some people don't realise what goes on in the background for these the bigger events that we try and do. You know, Colin has to spend his own time going around talking to people and trying to get things, organised that we're allowed to do these things. That obviously the smaller meets around car parks and stuff, we're okay. Sometimes we do get a bit of aggro, especially IKEA and stuff would give us a bit of aggro, but
that's been resolved now.
That's been resolved. But obviously, if things started going badly at the meets, like if people started messing about stuff, obviously it probably would be harder to have them. But we
do have a good reputation.
We have a good reputation, and it's even when I talk to Antwerp Council about Lochshore and stuff, they actually remember us from before.
Like fucking, 2004 or something
so
like that.
They remember us from then before, and they had no issues with us then. So that's something I will be arranging shortly. They're just finishing works at Lochshore. So as soon as they're finished, we'll set a meet up there, and that's a good wee spot too.
It's a good spot, family spot as well.
Well, the only thing is the speed bumps in the way, so people with lower cars will probably have issues. But other than that, it's a good wee spot, and it's a good family spot, and you can bring your family out, and it's quite handy for everybody as well. So, but what I want to say is, people out there, I know there's people out there that have half a brain and could organise something like this.
Yeah.
Like if you want to organise a small meet somewhere in a car park, it's really, really easy. All you have to do is set a date, set a venue, and create an event page. And
anyone on the Facebook page can create an event.
It's not like we're in.
We're not trying to dominate or control
we don't want to do all the work. We don't want to have to do this all the time and try and get people to do it. But it's really easy. It's not like we're in major talks with Tesco's to go down to Banbridge. We just use our car park, and that's just the way we just set a date, and that's it. All you do is set a date, a venue, and create an event, and the people will come out. If people are interested, they will come out, and it doesn't have to be us all the time. So
on top of that as well, is we're always looking for ideas. We usually do the car park meets over Christmas, or over winter months, because that's handy. With regards, we're now coming into April, so the show season starts.
Yep.
But a lot of people have been talking about going to different shows. And the last few years we've been to Trim.
Yep.
Trim's always a good day out. I always sort of joke that Trim's like the unofficial rover day for Ireland, because there's so many MGs and rovers descends on it, and you get the different clubs from different groups all across Ireland descend on it. There's a lot of talk about Kilbrony again this year as well. I think we're maybe looking at doing a day at Kilbrony.
Kilbrony was good last year.
Kilbrony was good last year. Kilbrony was good last year. But again, we want to try and do things casual and relaxed and chilled. But
we don't want, like we obviously had issues setting rules and stuff before, and that's something that events are quite strong on.
Yeah.
But we don't like that approach. We like to be casual, and people can turn up if they don't want to turn up. Blah blah blah. We don't want to have set numbers, etc. But some of these shows are quite hard to deal with. They want set numbers. They want to know.
They want details up front. And I mean, I know that there was, like, for example, people were saying about, we were going on about bringing cars at the tax insured and MOT events.
That's something they're quite tough on.
They're really tough on it. And I know that some people will say, we'll just rock down on trade plates. We're not having to go at you for trade plates. We're not having to go at you if your taxes maybe hasn't came through or whatever. It's purely a case of, once they start looking at one car that doesn't have tax insurance or MOT, they start looking at everyone's car in the group.
We don't want that kind of attention.
We don't want that kind of
attention. We like
attention.
the attention we get at the minute saying, look at that, that's a nice car. There's 3 other nice cars in the stand. That's the kind of attention we like. We don't like the negative attention and people coming up to us and asking us questions about certain things that we don't actually even know about.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we don't have to start checking everybody's cars.
I mean, there's, for example, this year, now the last 2 years at Tullymore, I have been doing entry forms for people to put on their dash.
Yeah.
That has been a requirement.
Yeah.
And that is so that if there's any issues, I can turn around and say, well, I provided the owner with the material for them to identify their vehicle. People may think, that's silly, why would you need to do that? Well, we go back to 2013 when there was the hit and run.
Yeah.
It was nothing to do with any of us, but I had to prove it had nothing to do with any of us. And that was a lot of hassle.
That's the side of things you don't see, is that when something like that happens, the organisers come to Colin and they ask him the questions. And at the end of the day, we don't know who you are. We don't know your car. Yes, we know some of you, but we don't, like if you come for your first time and do something silly, we don't know who you are. we don't know what your car is, or if it's legal, or even if you've got insurance. You know, that's the problems we have, and something Colin's dealt with in the past. Something luckily I haven't had to, but
It's why some people maybe say to me that I can be a wee bit over the top about rules, but
it's hard. It's hard to have that balance, and that's what we struggle with.
and that's the thing. I mean, I'm always grateful for Mark's input that way, because he tries to balance things off the equilibrium. And again, that's why for years I was so controlling about doing the groups and the Veets and Ments and things like that. And now it's a case of no, we really need to bring other people in, because it sounds terrible to say, we're not getting any younger.
And I'm busy. Like I'm flat out. Like if everybody knows me, I'm busy. Like so.
He's flat out. I have 2 jobs, both on rotating shift patterns. So, and they don't complement each other, my shift patterns at all.
You know, we at the end of the day we have lives. Like, you know, we have families and lives and work. And
He's getting married. I have an angry wife. You know.
so you know, we would like to share the load.
Yeah.
And that's.
And we want. It's not even a load. It's we want to share.
We want input.
Yeah.
We want more ideas. We want input. We want people to try and bring something forward that we haven't done before. Like Colin, we may do a video off this about events, but that's what we want. So you know what? We'll wrap this up now.
Yeah, wrap this up now.
That's the intro to the channel. We would really please watch it right through, and hopefully you can bring us back some input. If you want to put some input in the group or on the bottom of this video or whatever.
Comments, whatever. Remember, we're looking for people, we're looking for projects, we're looking for enthusiasts, and even we're looking for casual people just to say, hey, come on, check out my car, or come on down and talk to me, or even if you just want to sit down and talk about your love of rovers. I mean, there's one person in particular I know has a massive rover model toy collection.
Okay. There you go.
You know, that's things like that, you know, or your love of cars in general, but specifically we try and keep it MGRover related, you know. I dare say we could maybe actually out of Austin or something like that, you know, we're not snobs.
Like I know people are a bit afraid of getting in front of cameras and talking about stuff, but at the end, you know, we'll come to you, we'll try and arrange to come to you. If you want to come to me, happy days, but you know, we'll set it up and don't be worried about it. It's not like we have 6 million views on YouTube. It's not that many people's going to see it, so.
It's more for trying to help the community grow. The other thing as well is, it's nice to have a record of these things.
Yeah.
Because if you look at websites like PhotoBucket, for example, now, if you go to the forums, there's so many of the forums, the pictures aren't there anymore, because PhotoBucket's deleted them all. Yeah. Whereas YouTube doesn't have a policy on deleting.
Plus I have the footage anyway.
Yeah, you have the footage.
I try and keep everything, so. And
the other thing as well is, in case anyone ever asks about, you know, the data protection GMPR, Mark's covered for all that through his business.
I have all that, so don't worry about
that. And other thing as well.
We're not taking your details. It's not like we're taking your date of birth and stuff, like, you know.
But you know, some people query that, so that covers us for that aspect of things. And as I always say at meets now, you know, I'm the first aider. I'm fully trained with St John's Ambulance and all, and obviously do the ambulance driving in the spare time. So
yeah. So that'll do it. So thanks everybody if you made it to this very end of this video. I know it's a lot of waffle, but I think there's some good points in there.
Yeah, and, definitely.
Please come forward. Well, that's what we really want. We want people to come forward, so please do it.
Yeah. Bring us your hopes, your dreams, and your head gaskets, and we'll go from there.
Yes. So, see you later, guys, and hopefully we'll see you next meet. Bye.